If you've ever felt like your company's org chart just doesn't tell the full story, well, you're right. Today, we're going to look past that chart and explore a much more powerful way of seeing the places we work through the lens of organizational subsystems. So let me ask you this, right off the bat. When you think about your organization, what pops into your head? Is it just a collection of departments and teams all kind of doing their own thing? Or is it something more, like a single living system? Honestly, how you answer that changes everything. And this image right here, this is going to be our map for this explainer. It's all about learning to see an organization not as a cold, clunky machine, but as this complex, living thing, just buzzing with connections. So let's break it down. All right, so what are we even talking about here? Let's get right to the heart of it. What in the world is an organizational subsystem? Okay, the easiest way to think about it is like an organ in the human body, The heart has its job, the lungs have theirs, but they're all part of a bigger system. A subsystem is a self-contained unit, sure, but what really defines it isn't just what it does, but how it connects to everything else. First off, you've got to understand that each subsystem is kind of its own little universe. It's got its own processes, its own internal logic, its own way of getting things done. It's not just a team. It's a complete, smaller system nested inside the big one. But, and this is the absolute key, they are not islands. They are completely defined by how much they depend on each other. A subsystem just can't function alone. It needs things from other subsystems to do its job, and its work becomes the input for others. That back and forth is literally what powers the whole organization. Now, this is where it gets really cool. Subsystems aren't just the big, obvious departments like sales or marketing. Nope, they exist at every single level. You as an individual contributor, you're a subsystem. Your 5-person team, that's a subsystem. Your whole department, yep, that's one too. It's like a fractal, this pattern just repeating itself at every scale. Okay, so we've got a handle on what subsystems are, but who cares? Why does this actually matter? Why is making this mental shift from seeing parts to seeing a system so incredibly important? Well, look at the difference. On one side, you have that classic silo view. It's just a recipe for confusion and wasted effort. But on the other side, you have the subsystem view. And that's where you get clarity, a real sense of shared purpose, and collaboration that actually works. The whole game changes. You stop just working in your little box and you start working for the entire system. And maybe the most important thing this new view shows us is something we've all felt, but maybe didn't have a name for: the ripple effect. Okay, just picture this for a second. The engineering team decides to roll out a new software tool. That's not just an engineering thing, right? No way. It's a wave that washes over the entire company. Suddenly, the training team has to scramble to create new materials. Project managers have to completely rework their timelines. And of course, customer support is getting flooded with calls they weren't ready for. That's the ripple effect. And once you see those connections, you can start to manage them. So where is all of this headed? This isn't just an interesting academic exercise. It's a practical blueprint for building a much better, much healthier organization. And the final goal is actually pretty simple, but it's also profound. The goal, the entire point of this, is to create a unified whole. It's about taking all these different, unique, self-contained parts and getting them to move and breathe and act as one single entity. And what does a unified whole actually feel like? It's that magic when every single part of the company is pulling in the exact same direction. It's when the whole becomes so much more powerful than the sum of its parts. It's really the difference between just a collection of talented people and a truly unstoppable team. So I want to leave you with this question. As you go about your day today, just think about it. What is one single linkage, one connection between two teams, or two people, or two processes in your organization that, if you just made it a little bit stronger, would create the biggest positive ripple? Find that linkage, and you found a fantastic place to start.